You're listening to the Big Ideas Podcast with Ashlee Ilg. Tune in for honest conversations as we pursue bold dreams, redefine what is possible, and empower the next generation to live big. You'll hear stories that prove over and over again that just because something wasn't a part of our plan doesn't mean it won't be used for our good. Whether you're already an entrepreneur, you dream of becoming one, or you're raising the next generation of entrepreneurs, this podcast is for you. There's no time to waste on your big ideas. So let's get started. Here's your host, Ashlee Ilg.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Big Ideas Podcast. I'm your host, Ashlee Ilg, and I am just so excited to keep this series going, this whole season going. As you know, if you're just now joining us, this will be our 5th episode in as we are going through the Future CEO Playbook and really just designing that blueprint of bringing your big ideas to life, building a business from the ground up, just walking through all the pieces of it. And today is going to be a really big critical piece of it. This won't be a hugely long episode, but it will help bring the pieces together of everything we've talked about leading up till now, which of course is, really like we decided and we discussed a lot in that first episode of what is your big idea, just really nailing down and crystallizing what business idea makes sense right now for you with what you love doing and what you're already good at, what people are already seeking you for, and what you're already in position to help solve those problems for. We talked about that growth mindset and the CEO habits for just long-term discipline and success. We talked about building your brand and designing your logo. We talked about really analyzing your cost and your expenses to really create a really strong profit margin. We talked about, and I guess that's what leads us to today, right? Which is going to be all about putting all of that together for a one-page business plan. So by the time this episode is over, we're going to really dig in and dive into just really outlining a really crystal clear business plan of everything we've talked about up till now. And I'll give you some homework like I have been doing. But before I do that, if you, like I mentioned the playbook earlier, if you don't have a playbook yet, make sure you go ahead and order one. It's at ashleeilg.com/playbook. Here it is here. And you can also look for the link in the show notes as well. Of course, you don't have to have the playbook. You can just be using just a regular spiral bound notebook or something that you love to take notes in. But the playbook is definitely designed to accompany this podcast, or I guess really this podcast is designed to accompany the playbook, to really dig deeper into a lot of the topics that are already in there, really already set up to use as a workbook to really get those ideas down on paper. Cannot stress the importance of getting your ideas and your thoughts and your work, all of that progress on paper so that you've got a real tangible progress and work that you can keep coming back to, keep adjusting. You definitely want it written down, which brings me back to the business plan. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through about 5 or 6 different items that really are critical to really hone in on, to really understand your business and its purpose and what you're trying to accomplish before we move further. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to create some purpose, some clarity, some confidence, all of that is really required for your business plan. So first things first, we've talked about this, but I really want you to crystallize and really clearly articulate what is your product? What are you offering? And I would really just, don't just write down, bead bracelets or lawn care, put a whole thought to it. Like, what is it? Use some, not terribly fancy or flowery language, but, a real purpose statement behind what is it that you're offering. Take a minute. Like I said at the very, very beginning, push pause if you have to, do some jumping jacks, get the creative blood flowing, but really hone in on just a crystal clear definition or statement of what are you offering. Hey friend, quick pause before we keep going. As you know, this season of the Big Ideas Podcast is all about building ideas, confidence, leadership, and real-world skills our kids can actually use. And if you've been listening thinking, wow, I wish I had something like this when I was growing up, I did too, which is why I created the Future CEO Playbook. It's a hands-on guide designed to help kids think like problem solvers, build and test ideas, understand money, communicate clearly, and take initiative with faith, purpose, and creativity at the center. You can order the spiral-bound workbook at ashleeilg.com or the paperback version on Amazon. Both are designed to be worked through interactively, so kids can write, plan, build, and reflect as they go. If this season has you inspired, the playbook helps you put it into action. All right, let's get back to the show. And once you've done that, the next thing I want you to really clearly articulate is, why is it useful? Why is it needed? Why is it awesome? Why are we doing this? What makes your product or service so needed right now? And again, instead of saying because people need their grasses mowed or their lawns mowed, go a little deeper than that. Make it a little bit more personalized, a little bit more why it matters from you and why it matters from you now, right? All right. And then something that we've not really talked about too much yet, it will really show up a lot more in our marketing piece, which is the next segment, the next episode, the next module in the playbook. But I really want to start thinking about where can people buy it? Where do you want your product sold? Do you want it sold strictly online? Do you want it sold in pop-up shops or like at market events? Do you want it sold in a storefront? Do you have access to a storefront? Do you want to sell it out of your garage? Do you want to sell it on your, somewhere in your home? Or do you have an office space that you would like to sell it out of? Is it a service that you would do at somebody's home, like a lawn care, So really articulate where can others buy your service. And even if they are, signing up for a lawn care or hair care or something where you're going to them to provide the service, they still need to be able to book an appointment or contact you. And so if that's the case for you, this would be a great point to make it, that they would find you on a Google search or a website or some sort of online presence, maybe social media is where they find you. So articulate where they're going to find you, how they're going to buy your product, and exactly where that's going to take place. That's super critical. We need to really hone in on how we can access your product, right? We need to be able to find you. Your customers need to be able to find you. All right. And then speaking of your customer, let's really take a minute, maybe a few minutes here, and really dissect who is your ideal customer. I love doing this even as a writer, really picturing who my target reader is, who your target audience is, even coming up with like an avatar or like a persona of a person. You want to know everything about that person, right? You want to know their age, maybe an age range. Is it somebody that's your age? Is it somebody that's a little bit older, a little bit younger? Define specifically what that age range is, and that will really help you hone in on what that problem is that you're helping them solve, right? Where can you find them? Are they at school? Are they at church? Are they online? Are they, do you find them in real life at just, being out and about? Are they at athletic events? Are they on sports teams? Where do you find your target customer? Where are they easily hanging out that you're going to reach them? That's also going to play into our marketing plan, which is going to be the next segment here. So really think about who your target audience is, their age, where they hang out. And then this is super important, but what does your target customer care about? And this should really probably go hand in hand with, as you've probably already thought about this a lot as you've been thinking about what problem are you helping to solve. But what does your ideal customer really care about? Are they all about saving money? Are they all about saving time? If it's a mom, I promise you she's all about saving time. Do they care about being healthy? Are they a very green, kind of crunchy person who's like, I don't want, certain ingredients in what I'm doing or what I'm buying or using? Do they care about being entertained? Do they love travel? What are the things that they are interested in and that they care about? And how that will affect what your business is, right? You can have some frivolous details about your customer, maybe if they have a certain style or a certain personality, just to have fun with that avatar, that persona, like I was talking about. But we definitely want to hone in on what they care about as it relates to your business or your product, right? And then what kind of problem do they have that you can solve? Can you help them save time? Can you help them save money? Can you help them to live a healthier lifestyle? Can you help them raise kids that have a healthier lifestyle? Can you help them get what they need in a more efficient way, right? And so again, have fun with it. Really hone in on who your target customer is, because the more clearly you can articulate and picture and understand your customer, the more accurately and effectively you're going to be able to reach them with your product, with your marketing, with your entire approach, right? So really nailing down, is it somebody your age? Is it a parent? Is it a grandparent? Are they athletic? Are they artistic? Are they patriotic? Are they thrifty? Are they adventurous? Do they love animals? Do they love travel? traveling, right? There's so many different ways that we can really hone in and describe that target customer. And it's just going to be hugely valuable for you to decide and really define that type of person now as we move forward. So once you've done that, I want to pull everything together and put together a business plan pitch. So once we've really taken some time and defined that customer, who they are, what they love, more importantly, what they struggle with, and how you can help them, make a list of people like this that you can already think of. Maybe people are already coming to your mind. You're already picturing people that fit this profile that you're articulating here. Make a list of them. Really give that some beef. Really fill in that section and really hone in on that customer profile. And then we're going to create a full business plan, one-page pitch, a whole plan based on everything that we've talked about from the first module all the way till now. And I think this is going to be super helpful for you to see everything kind of fleshed out. And we're just going to call it our one-page business plan. And let's walk through that together. So if you're using the playbook, of course, this is going to be much easier because there's already pages built out for you with these areas and sections to fill in. If you're working this on your own, it's totally fine. Like I keep saying, just grab your pencil and just kind of make a note of these sections and these categories, and we'll, write it out, type it out, make it as official as you want. If you have your logo designed, we can put this up at the top, make it super official. But the very beginning is going to be your business name, and I'll give you an example that I have filled out here too. Just again, for an example, for example's sake, it's definitely probably not going to be yours, but yeah, so the business name I have here is the Snack Shack. So just playing on words, a little alliteration, some rhyming. It's clearly articulated. Sounds like a kind of fun, whimsy, maybe bohemian style snack bar, right? So after you do your business name, you're going to write down your product. And this is going to be that one line, definition of what your product is. So for me, I've got healthy snack packs for kids. So you've got your business name, you've got your product. Right underneath there, I want you to write your customer. So this is your target customer that we just spent some time defining. Mine for this example is parents and kids after school and at kids' sports events. So I've got Snack Shack, I've got healthy snack packs for kids, and my customer is going to be the parents and kids after school and at kids' sporting events, right? So you take some time to fill those in. We're going to keep going. The next one down is going to be fill in what is the problem that is being solved. So the problem solved for me is that junk food is everywhere and parents want a convenient, healthier option for their kids, especially when their kids are most hungry, right? Right after school, at sporting events. So the location, like we talked about earlier in this section, was critical for this problem that's being solved, right? So you've got your business name, your product, your customer, your problem solved. My solution is what my product is, right? Fun, fresh snack packs with fruit, cheese, crackers. Yeah, fruit, cheese, and crackers. So again, what is the problem and then how are you solving it? So it's kind of like what your product is again, but now you're going to frame it in as more specifically, what is it? How is it solving problems? For me, it's the fruit, cheese, and crackers replacing the junk food, right? Okay, the next one is going to be your price. Mine is $3 per pack. The cost to make it is $1.25. My profit is $1.75 per pack. Okay, so let's review. We've got our business name, our product, our customer, our problem solved, the solution, the price, the cost to make, and the profit. And then the next one, we're going to dig into this a lot deeper in the next segment, but I would like you to put a kind of a placeholder here and you can write something in to hold it, but it's going to be your marketing plan. How exactly do we plan to sell your product? How are we going to get the word out? How are we going to tell others about it, right? So you can just write something in there quickly. If you've already got a good idea of some plans and some ideas you have, this is a great place to put it. We can always come back and fill it in a little bit more thoroughly after we really dig deep into the marketing plan, which is the next segment. So for my example, I have that we're going to sell it at kids' sporting events. I've offered the samples at carpool pickup, and we're going to ask our teachers to help promote it. Maybe we'll have some sort of incentive or things like that. All right. And then the goal, the last line here is going to be how many of your product or your services do you plan to sell in what length of time, right? So my goal is to sell 100 packs in the first 30 days in my first month, right? So that is in a nutshell your one-page business plan. So let me run through the sections again, and you can fill it in as you go. Again, press pause, do some jumping jacks. A lot of this we've already worked through in the earlier segment, so it might just be a matter of filling it in. But you're going to want it all in one organized one-page format. Again, put your logo up at the top, use some branding colors and fonts like you've played around with and practiced, and make this business plan really, really shine, right? So as a review, you've got your business name, your product, your target customer, the problem you're solving, your solution, the price, the cost to make it, your profit, your marketing plan, and the goal. And again, the cost is going to be per item. So I would recommend you come up with a short elevator pitch. And it's called an elevator pitch because typically on an elevator, you've got about 30 seconds if you're going from one floor to the next. If somebody were to step on the elevator and say, "Hey, what's your business?" You would go, "My name is Ashlee and blah, 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 blah." And you would be able to articulate it and say it without even really thinking or stuttering or second guessing what you're saying before you landed at the next floor and they stepped off the elevator. So based on what you've filled out here on your business plan, I would definitely recommend forming it into 1 or 2 sentences about you, your business plan, your product, and all the things so that you can practice it. You can just kind of keep tweaking it, make it sound like you, make sure you're using words that sound like you and your personality and reflect your business and your product and your brand. And so here's a quick one for me based on my Snack Shack example, right? Hi, I'm Ashlee and I run Snack Shack. I help parents by providing healthy and convenient snacks so they can help their kids avoid eating too much junk food. Something as simple as that. You can definitely make it more interesting or exciting than that, but that's the general idea of what your business elevator pitch would be. And that is your homework between now and the next episode. So sharpen your pencils, get your pens out, make sure this business plan is, zipped up nice and tight. You've got all those details finalized from previous modules, and we're going to roll right into the marketing plan, which is one of my favorite episodes. So I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you soon. Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in today. Before you go, it would mean the world to me and my family if you would share this episode with at least one person who you think might benefit from this message. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. You can also follow me at Ashlee Ilg on Instagram to keep up with our adventures and for continued encouragement as you pursue your big ideas. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time.